So we hear it again for Kate Yeager. So this month we are beginning the study of a new archetype, and this one is the lover or the romantic. And so I invite you to activate your inner lover, the lover of God, the lover of your spouse, the lover of your family, the lover of all beings. Carol Pearson said that the lover archetype governs all kinds of love, from parental love to friendship to spiritual love, but it is best known for romance. And there are 3 different kinds of love. Eros, which is romantic love. Philos, which is friendship. Philadelphia comes from that word. And agape, which is unconditional love. When Jesus was resurrected, he met with Peter, who had denied him 3 times. And he asked Peter, "Do you love me?" And he said, "Yes, Lord, I do." "Do you love me?" "Yes, Lord, you know that I do." "Do you love me?" And he had said, "Tend my sheep and feed my sheep." But the first 2 times he asked him, "Do you love me?" using the word philos. "Do you love me as a friend?" And the 3rd time was, "Do you love me, agape? Do you love me as God loves me? Do you love unconditionally?" So we're going to look at these 3 different types of love. So I want to begin, of course, with Eros, the romantic love, because it's what our songs are about, it's what our movies and novels are about. It probably dominates a lot of conversation in a lot of our lives. And the experience of falling in love is powerful. And it is one that transports you to another dimension, in a sense, right? And when we are first falling in love, it is still untested by life's challenges. The mask falls away for a moment. We see into the soul of another person. We see the God self. We see the Christ. We see the divine being. We see the goodness, we see incredible potential, we see light, we see all of that, right? And I think that the story of Psyche and Eros really kind of encapsulates this, and I'm not going to go into the entire story because I did that in, I believe it was March, and it was called Love Liberates. You can find it on the podcast. But I want to talk about the first part of that story because it's a great example of the experience of falling in love. And Psyche, whose name actually means butterfly, is supposed to marry a monster. And Eros is he's the guy with the arrows, he kind of like Cupid who pricks you with the arrow and you fall in love. And he's supposed to go and prick her with an arrow so that she'll fall in love with this monster that she's engaged to. But instead, he accidentally hits himself with the arrow, and he falls madly in love with Psyche. And he takes her and he whisks her off to his castle or his palace that's up in the clouds, and he loves her unconditionally. But the thing is, he only comes to her at night. And she never sees him in the day. She doesn't know what he looks like because, it's always in the dark. And after a while, she gets lonely, and her sisters come visit, and they go, "How do you know he's not the monster? I mean, you've never seen him." So she decides that this night she's going to have an oil lamp, and she's going to look into his face. And that night she lights the lamp. She accidentally burns him with the oil, and he flies away. And of course, he's this incredibly handsome, wonderful being, and now he's gone. And the rest of the story, which I won't go into, is the number of tasks that she needs to go through to become reunited with this love. So the idea of kind of falling in love and going off into this castle or this mountaintop experience, it kind of describes the experience of falling in love. Do we not fall into this bubble, right, where it's only the 2 of you in all of the world? And then one day, the light goes on, and all of a sudden you go, I didn't know that about you. Or we start to see each other's flaws, or we start to see different things, or life's challenges begin to encroach on the relationship. Because the word psyche, again, means butterfly, and the idea is that we become transformed through the falling in love. And the truth is that when we begin to see the flaws, that is when true love really begins, doesn't it? Now, if you're addicted to the experience of falling in love, as soon as the light goes on, you move on to another relationship. Anybody ever done that or know anybody who does? So once that experience happens, then Eros must progress into another form of love, and I believe that then is Philos, which is the love of friendship, the love of kindness and compassion. That's the love that will stick with you and stay with you and walk through some of the challenges of life. I went to see Ira Hoover, who's one of our members. He's 96 years old, and he is now on hospice, but he is receiving phone calls and visitors. And we talked about life. You know, I just kind of wanted to get his take on the perspective, because he's been here like almost an entire century. You know, he's seen so many changes. And he was married for 68 years. And he pointed out the picture of him and his wife on the counter, and I looked at it, and he said this picture was taken a year before she died. And one of the things that I noticed in this picture was they just looked like they were really good friends. You know, you could just tell by their body language, the way they were kind of leaning into each other, that they really liked each other. And I said, you know, you guys look like you were really good friends, like you really liked each other. And he goes, oh, you know, he couldn't say enough good things about her. He also was a minister for about 60 years. And she was the pianist, which I didn't know. But he said that there was one guy in his church that didn't like him and was always going after him about this or that. And he said one time after church, the guy walked up to him and he said, you know, if it wasn't for your wife, you wouldn't be here. She's the best part of this church. And he said, you know what? You are absolutely right. I agree with you 100%. And he said, you know, the guy thought he was going to hurt his feelings, but he said, I agree. She was great. She was wonderful. She was amazing. And so we can see the combination then of the Eros and the Philos kind of love coming together. I asked Ira, I said, so of all the changes that you have seen in this last century, what's the biggest change that is happening or has happened in your lifetime? And really what we thought about, what he said was, really the biggest change has been in the last 10 years with our computers, the internet and the phone, and how it has changed everything, where everything is so fast and everything is so immediate, and that has changed how we perceive reality. An example of this is, I saw a cartoon that somebody put on their Facebook, and there's two captions. The first caption is 4 young people, and they're sitting on a train, and the caption underneath it says, staring at our screens isolates us and makes us antisocial. The next caption was the same exact picture. 4 young people looking at their phones on a train. Only this time, the caption is different. We read, just bought my plane ticket home. Tell mom I said hi. Happy face emoji. Last night was fun. Been thinking about you all day. Heart emoji. Just saw the new baby picture. Can't wait to see you this weekend. On my way, should I pick up snacks for the party? So we see that what may appear to be social isolation is actually connection that's happening in a different way. I know that my daughter and I, even though she lives in my house, we communicate a lot via text. True. Instead of going, Caroline, dinner's ready, it's like, you know, I'll just send her a little emoji of some food, you know, and and then she'll come upstairs and eat. But it's in some ways a lot easier to go, did you take out the garbage, or did you move your car, or whatever, instead of going, did you move your car? And I was reading an article about a man who really had a really strong connection with his son. His name is Adam Gopnik, and he said he and his kid were so close, and then his son got to be 13 years old, and all of a sudden the grunt started. And you know, he said he was a writer, so he worked at home, and he didn't want to, but his kid would come in the door and he'd be standing there going, hi, how was your day? And his son would go, go in his room and slam the door. And and he'd say every day, I'm not going to do this, and every day he would. And this is when the computers were, the IMing and stuff was still new, and so he one day just sat at his computer, and all of a sudden an IM comes to him from his son saying, "Hey, Dad, what's up?" And he goes, "Oh, nothing. What's up with you?" And he goes, "I had a bad day at school today." Oops. And so they began to communicate via IM. And he was so touched because his son would close so many of these messages with LOL. And he was like, "Oh my God, my son loves me so much. Lots of love, lots of love." So he began LOLing his son back, and he started to actually overuse it. So his sister was getting a divorce. And he says, "I'm really sorry about your divorce. We're all standing behind you, LOL." His dad was sick, and he sends a text, "I'm so sorry you're sick, and we hope you get better soon, LOL." Friend of his lost his job. "I hope you find another job soon. You really deserve prosperity in your life, LOL." Until finally his son said, "Dad, what do you think LOL stands for?" And he says, "Well, lots of love, of course." And he goes, "No, Dad, it's laugh out loud." So, so one of the biggest changes that we have seen is that the internet has brought us an instant knowing when something happens in the world. And we hear about world events, we hear about shootings, we hear about them almost on a daily basis, and we hear them as soon as they happen, no matter where they happen in the world. And I think that this weighs heavily upon us. In the news lately has been the police shootings of unarmed African American men. That's big in the news. And the thing is, it's not that any of this stuff is new. It's just that now things are being filmed. Now things are being seen. Now things are being brought to the surface. And the positive is that it is being brought out into the light so that it can be healed once and for all. I mean, for those of us who have been around a while, I remember the 50s when, domestic violence and child abuse, people just didn't talk about it. If something was going on in your house, it stayed in your house. There were no children's rights. There was none of that. And yet it was brought out of the closet. It was brought out into the light. And so now we have systems in place in which to deal with those kinds of events. But if we don't see them and we don't acknowledge them and we don't bring them out into the light, we can't heal it, right? And what is the biggest healer but love? And so when I say that we need to activate that archetype of love, it's time for us to really do it. And so we move from Philos to Agape. And Agape is unconditional love. It is the love of God. It is a love supreme, and it goes beyond Eros. It goes beyond Philos. It is the love that Jesus demonstrated. It is the basis of loving kindness in Buddhism. Anandi said about Sufism that in Sufi understanding, the soul is not a mere devotee of God. She is his friend and he is her companion. They walk together on the path of life as lovers. The soul is seeking the divine, and the divine is seeking the soul. So I think it is appropriate that we practice this love, this agape, this unconditional love. And unity we call seeing the God in one another, beholding the Christ, right? Seeing beyond any outer appearance, seeing beyond the physical appearance, and seeing to the soul. And that's what happens when we fall in love, isn't it? It's like all that falls away and we see it clearly. But when we're out in the world, we kind of put up our walls, we put up our masks, and we don't see it. So I would like for us, because we're in a church and this is a laboratory, and we did this a couple of months ago, but I want to do it again because so many people said that it really helped open their hearts. And we're going to do what I'm going to start to call a namaste walk. And you know the song, the God in me beholds the God in you, namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you, namaste. This is a way of, and it basically means that I see the God in you. Now, last time we did it, we had a bit of a traffic jam, so I've rethought how we can do this where we can move it fairly smoothly. And instead of stopping with each person, Gail, will you kind of be the other person here for me for a second? So basically the song is "The God in me beholds the God in you," and I'd like you to walk during that part. So the God in me beholds the God in you, and whoever is standing opposite you, you stop and namaste. And the God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. So you may be namasteing every third person or every fourth person. Aaron is going to lead us in singing this, and as we do it, what I invite you to do, and of course you're free, if it's difficult for you to walk, then stay where you are and we will look at you or come out and we'll make sure that we namaste you. I invite you to open your hearts, and that what we're going to do is see beyond the outer appearance. I would like you to make eye contact and to open the heart. So the way this is going to work is all of you guys from like here, go stand over here and make like a circle or an it's an oval, but it's kind of a circle. So like from Diane, Paul, everybody to that side, go this side. And then from here to like Emily, you want to stand up and raise your hand. So then you guys all come in the center and face each other. Make a circle. And then everybody from this side, head over here, make a circle. You don't have to hold hands. Make sure that you're facing somebody. And everybody is going to walk to the right. You're all going to walk in the same direction. And remember, you stop with the word namaste. And I know the center's a little crowded, but we're good.
So this first time that we sing the song, just stay put, and we'll sing together, and what you're seeing is the eyes of the people across from you. It's just going to take a second for us to sing through it once so we can become a little bit more comfortable. And then after we finish once, I'll say, go ahead and start to walk. The God in me beholds the God in you. Just hold still for just a moment. Just hold still to sing it. The God in me. All is beautiful. All is beautiful. All is well. All is beautiful. All is well. And begin to walk to your right. Expand your circles so that they take up your whole aisle. That's right. So we're stretching out. The God in me beholds the God in you. And bow. Namaste. And walk. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. All is beautiful and walk. All is beautiful. And as we expand our circles, we expand it in your consciousness for not just this room or this group, but it's something you can carry with you as you walk through the whole world. And this time as we sing together, imagine people who aren't necessarily in this room, that we can say namaste as we walk with our eyes as we sing. Here we go. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. All is beautiful. All is beautiful. All is well. All is beautiful. All is well. And now as we move around back to our places within the pews, continuing to move and take in the altars as you pass them by, the neighbors that you maybe haven't seen yet, the people who aren't in this room that you would wish namaste, the people who maybe aren't even on this plane or this planet anymore, to whom you might wish namaste. As you continue moving through and finding your home space, back to your seat. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. And you may be seated. Namaste. All is beautiful. All is well. All is beautiful. All is beautiful. All is well. All is beautiful. All is beautiful. All is well. All is beautiful. All is well. We'll let the music take us back home.
Give yourself a round of applause. So I want to thank you for participating in that and for the experiment of looking into a stranger's eyes or perhaps someone you know only slightly and having that willingness to practice agape, to practice unconditional love with someone you don't even know. Because this is what the world needs. The more of us that connect to this, the more we can transfer it over into our real lives or our worldly lives, if you will. And I just want to close with one more small story. It's a big story, but a short story about the power of unconditional love, the power that love is. A woman by the name of Kate Agg, she lives in Australia, and had wanted to have children and finally got pregnant with twins. And they were born prematurely at 26 weeks. She had a boy and a girl. Maybe some of you know this story. You can find it online. And Her son, who was born first, they noticed that there were like 20 people around the baby. And then finally the doctor brought the baby to the mom, and he said, "Did you have a name for your son?" And she said, "Yeah, his name is Jamie." And he said, "I'm sorry, but Jamie didn't make it." And he hands her the baby, who had stopped breathing, and her first response was to have everybody get out of the room. She said, "I want everybody to leave," because they wanted to give her a chance to say goodbye to her child. And so her husband was there, and she said, "Take off your shirt and get in bed with me." And so they were in bed, and she put the baby on her chest, and he would gasp once in a while, and the doctor said, it's not going to make it, so this is a goodbye. For 2 hours, they held the baby, and she held it on her chest so that the baby could hear her heartbeat, so that the baby could hear her breathing. And they began to tell Jamie, all the wonderful things about this life. They said, "You have a little sister, and you need to stay because you need to help take care of your little sister." And they began to tell him about their relatives and just about all the dreams that they had for Jamie. And they said they were trying to entice him to stay. And all of a sudden, he opened his eyes. And you can see this on YouTube. You can actually see it. And he reaches out and he grasps his father's finger. And he lived. And not only did he live, but he's perfectly healthy. He just turned 5 this March, and they finally told him his story. And he also has a little brother who says, "My brother was dead, and now he's alive." But the mother trusted her intuition. She trusted this energy that goes beyond whatever else is, and she didn't know. She just knew that she had to hold this baby and that her husband also had to be there. Her first inclination was that we have to keep him warm. So never underestimate the power that love has. It is the power that can heal all situations and can lift us up. So when you get your little texts of all the things that are happening in the world, keep your heart open and know that love is the transformer. Love is the healer of all things. Remember, there are 3 types of love. There is Eros, the falling in love, the Philos, the friendship, the connection, and Agape, the love of a parent for a child, the love of God for each one of us. And may we all fall in love with each other. May we all fall in love with God. May we all fall in love with the world. Rumi said it this way: "I am your lover. Come to my side. I will open the gate to your love. Come settle with me. Let us be neighbors to the stars. You have been hiding so long, endlessly drifting in the sea of my love. Even so, you have always been connected to me. Concealed, revealed in the unknown, in the unmanifest, I am life itself. I am the ocean and its turbulence force. Come merge with me. Leave this world of ignorance. Be with me, and I will open the gate to your love." So as we go forth today, we activate the archetype of the lover within us all that loves all beings in all forms. And next week, we get to love our dogs and our cats. And thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Karen, for the